Good evening and welcome to the 2025 Division II NCAA Women's Basketball Selection Show. I'm Joey Lindstrom, and tonight we will unveil the 64 teams that will have a shot at winning this year's national championship. All the teams have their eyes set on playing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from March 24th to March 28th at the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse, with the quarterfinals through the championship game airing on ESPN+. The tournament kicks off on March 14th and includes 8 regions comprised of 8 teams. After each region produces a winner, the final 8 teams will head to Pittsburgh for the quarterfinal round, where the final teams compete to determine the national champion. This year's field is comprised of 23 automatic qualifiers as well as 41 at-large bids. So the majority of teams watching this show are waiting to see if they have a spot in the 64-team bracket. So without further ado, I know you're waiting at home, let's see who's in the field for this year's Division II tournament bracket. We start in the Atlantic region. The number 1 seed in the Atlantic region is Edinburgh. For the first time since the 2013-24 season, the 2014 season, the top seed in the PSAC is in. The Fighting Scots return to the tournament under the leadership of their stars. Morgan Gentile was named PSAC West Player of the Year, and Rachel Manfredo was the PSAC West Freshman of the Year as well. They'll be taking on the 8 seed Virginia State. The Trojans are back in the NCAA tournament. Carmen Quetty broke the single-season rebounding record with 335 total rebounds this season. And Erica Taylor held the record with 327 since the 1992-1993 season. Next up, the 4 seed, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. The Crimson Hawks returned to the big dance, and junior forward Nyshay Weaver and senior guard Shamia Strayhorn were both all PSAC West first-team selections. And they will take on Fairmont State. After the championship game against Glenville State in the Mountain East Conference, Fairmont State secures its spot in the tournament. They are on an 8-game winning streak, headed to the NCAA tournament. MEC Player of the Year Leslie Huffman leads the way for the Fighting Falcons. The 2 seed in the Atlantic is Gannon. After a trip to the Elite 8 last year, the Golden Knights of Gannon are in the dance once again. An incredible comeback. They came up just short on Saturday in the PSAC semifinal versus Kutztown. They trailed by as much as 16 and retook the lead late, but couldn't close it out to earn a 5th straight trip to the conference championship game. But they've earned a spot this year as an at-large and will try to repeat their deep run of 2024 when they reach the quarters. Gannon's in the NCAA tournament for the 16th time in program history and the 4th consecutive season. Taking on Gannon will be Fayetteville State. Back in the field again are the Broncos, defending their CIAA title from 2024. They defeated Virginia State last weekend to earn the automatic bid, forcing 18 turnovers and holding Virginia State to just 2 made threes. The Broncos' stingy defense will be a big factor in the big dance. And the final matchup in the Atlantic region, Seton Hill. Seton Hill is in from the PSAC. Led by Conference Coach of the Year Maeve Gallagher and Defensive Athlete of the Year Mia Kalic. The Griffins fell in the quarterfinals of the conference tournament, but still earn an at-large bid to this year's field. They'll be taking on Kutztown. Nia Pulliam was named PSAC East Athlete of the Year. Layla Hurley earned second-team All-PSAC East honors. Kutztown set a new program record for consecutive wins with 12 straight victories this season. 2025 PSAC East Division champions, Kutztown. And with that, we move on to the Central region. The number 1 seed in the Central is Pittsburgh State. The Gorillas won the MIAA title game today to clinch the number 1 seed and are back in the tournament for the 3rd year in a row. Head coach Amanda Davied has been named the MIAA Coach of the Year. Seniors Karenna Gerber and Grace Pyle were selected to the first-team All-MIAA squad for the 2nd straight season. A potential trip to the Elite 8 and their aptly named Twin City would certainly make the Gorillas go bananas. And they will be taking on Harding. After a victory in the Great American Conference Championship game over Southeastern Oklahoma State, Harding is now GAC champs for the third time. Sage Hawley and company will look to play upset against the 1 seed. Moving on, the 4th seed is Missouri Western. The Griffins lost in the semifinals of the MIAA Conference Tournament to Fort Hays State. They received the at-large bid of the tourney. Alyssa Bonilla leads the way as a first-team all-defensive player for Missouri Western. And this is going to be one of the highlight matchups of the first round because Missouri Western is taking on Minnesota State Mankato, the reigning national champions in Division II. Despite falling to Concordia St. Paul in the NSIC final, the Mavericks of Mankato, led by head coach Emily Thies in her 13th season, have become a powerhouse in Division II women's basketball and always a threat to make a deep run, just like last season in the Elite Eight. Destiny Bursch and Natalie Bremer lead the way in scoring for Minnesota State and are both first-team all-conference players. And right on cue, the team that beat Minnesota State in the NSIC final, Concordia St. Paul, is the 2 seed. The Golden Bears won a convincing title game over Mankato last weekend behind an impressive 25-point performance by Lindsay Belcher. Belcher earned tournament MVP honors for her effort and moved into 6th all-time among the program's scoring leaders. For the first time since 2014, the Golden Bears are back in the tournament. They'll try to keep a 16-game win streak going for a deep run in March. Be taking on in-state foe Southwest Minnesota State. After 23 seasons away from the tournament, the Mustangs of Southwest Minnesota State are in. Ranked 17th in the coaches poll, the Mustangs enter the tournament attempting to stampede through some upsets after an absence of almost a quarter century from the big dance. Congratulations on the return to the show, Mustangs. And the 3 seed in the Central region is Fort Hays State. They reached 20 wins for the 14th straight season, the longest active streak in Division II and the 6th longest across all divisions. Katie DeGarmo was named MIAA Player of the Year for a 2nd year in a row, and DeGarmo is the school's record holder in career rebounds and ranks 2nd in team history in points. There is a crimson storm afoot as Southern Nazarene rounds out the Central region. The Crimson Storm out of the Great American Conference fell in the semifinals to Southeastern Oklahoma State, but gained an at-large bid in the tournament. Led by Hannah Giddy, this group bolsters a talented roster and could present a challenge to Fort Hays in the first round. And we will continue to move on through the bracket. On to the East region we go, and the number 1 seed in the East is Bentley. Bentley is 29-1 overall with a 25-game winning streak. The Falcons are ranked number 3 in the WBCA Division II coaches poll and have been in the top 5 virtually all season. The 25-game winning streak is the longest active nationally in Division II. This is Bentley's best season since the 2013-14 undefeated national championship team. The Falcons went into Northeast 10 championship game looking for a four-peat, and Coach C. White and company got it. A longtime assistant to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer Barbara Stevens, 13-0 in conference playoff games, and Bentley will be making its 39th appearance. That's a record in NCAA Division II championships, looking for its first regional championship since 2016. And taking on the Falcons, charging into the field is New Haven. The Chargers lost in the quarterfinals of the NE10 tournament, but their season continues on as an at-large team. The 4 seed in the East is St. Anselm. The Hawks are flying high into the dance, led by Melanie Hoyt, the Northeast 10 Player of the Year. This is the Hawks' first trip to NCAA regionals since 2019. And they will be taking on Southern Connecticut State. After falling to Bentley in the NE10 semifinals, Southern Connecticut State earns the at-large bid to the loaded East region. The 2nd seed in the East is Damon. After playing in and winning the East Coast Conference Championship for the 6th year in a row, the Damon Wildcats are back in the NCAA tournament for the 6th season, and after a trip to the Elite Eight last season, Daniel DeCintio and the rest of the Wildcat squad are back in the saddle for another year, trying to get back to the Elite Eight another time. And they will be facing off against Jefferson. After a rough 9-6 start, the Rams won their final 13 regular season games to take their division. Cassie Murphy won CACC Player of the Year. This is the third straight year a Jefferson player has won that award. Tom Shirley also won his third straight CACC Coach of the Year honors, became the 11th women's basketball coach to reach 900 career wins. Jefferson makes their fourth straight NCAA tourney and their sixth in the last 7 years. Next up, the 3 seed, Holy Family, who is in for the first time since 2016. Holy Family in after earning the automatic bid out of the CACC after defeating the above team, Jefferson. Congrats to the Tigers. And coupling this angelic matchup for Holy Family is Assumption. They fell to Bentley in the NE10 tournament final, but the Greyhounds make the third appearance in the dance in 3 years and the 8th NCAA tournament appearance under head coach Carrie Fair. And with that, we move on to the Midwest. And the Midwest region host is Grand Valley State. The Lakers were GLIAC regular season champions for the 4th straight year. This team earned their 1,000th win in program history earlier this season as well. And this senior class has become the winningest class in program history at 136 victories. Riley Bisbal surpassed 1,500 career points, and she was also the GLIAC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year for the 2nd straight season. Head coach Mike Williams was named the GLIAC Coach of the Year for the 5th time in his career. And they will take on Quincy, the 8 seed. The Hawks, up from 10 wins a year ago to 25 this season. They earn the automatic bid to the tournament. Congratulations to Quincy. Next up, Wayne State, the 4 seed in the Midwest region. This will be WSU's 6th appearance in the NCAA tournament and 5th in the last 13 years. The Warriors reached the Sweet 16 in both 2013 and 2014, falling to the host schools both times. The seniors on this team made the NCAA tournament as freshmen in 2022. Shea Tripp, who scored her 1,000th career point back in December, is one of 3 females nationally from all sports and all divisions to be a finalist for the John Wooden Citizenship Cup. And they will be taking on Lewis. Lewis is in and flying high. The back-to-back champs of the GLVC in 22 and 23 look to continue their season with their 18th NCAA tournament appearance. And speaking of flying high, Ashland is back in the tourney. The Eagles of Ashland are back in the NCAA tournament after their 4th consecutive tourney title victory, this time over Hillsdale, and 4 GMAC regular season crowns in a row. Ashland has won at least 30 games in 3 straight seasons and 9 times since 2011-2012. Senior forward Zoe Miller has earned the 2024-25 Great Midwest Player of the Year award, giving an Eagle the honor for a 3rd consecutive season. And she is accompanied by her counterpart Haley Smith. Her 16 double-doubles this season are among the most in NCAA Division II. And the Eagles would be taking on Ferris State. After a Final Four appearance last year, the Ferris State Bulldogs are primed for another deep run in 2025, led by senior guard Kenzie Bowers and junior wing Mia Riley, both first-team All-GLIAC. Coached by Kurt Westendorp in his 5th season, this is the 3rd NCAA tournament appearance for the Bulldogs in 5 years. To round out the Midwest region, our final matchup in this spot, let's see who it is. Northern Michigan is the 3 seed, the 3rd year in a row that the Wildcats have made the tournament. Despite falling in the GLIAC semifinals, head coach Casey Thousand has her team back on the road to Pittsburgh from way up north in the UP. And they will be taking on aforementioned Hillsdale. The run to the GMAC Conference Tournament Final helped lift Hillsdale into the tourney, and the Chargers are back in the tournament for the first time since 2017, and the first time under 2nd-year head coach Brianna Brennan. That rounds out the Midwest. Let's move to the South region. South region awaits here on the right side of our bracket. We begin with the number 1 seed in the South, Union. Union won its 10th GSC regular season title, 37th regular season conference title in program history. They're also conference tournament champions after a victory over Alabama Huntsville today. Head coach Mark Campbell was named the GSC Coach of the Year. This team won 20-plus GSC regular season games for the fourth time. The team has a current streak of 70 consecutive weeks in the WBCA Coaches Poll Top 25. They are hosting in the South, and they'll be taking on the 8th seed, Miles. The Lady Bears left no doubt about which women's basketball program is the most dominant in the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and they make it back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. Pete Asman has his Lady Bears ready to go for the second year in a row in the Big Dance. And we will say hello to our 4th seed, the Tampa Spartans in the South region, back for the 17th time and their 4th straight tournament appearance. A year after falling in the quarterfinals, Tampa will dig in for another run. It's a bit of a disappointing end to the SSC tournament after losing to Nova Southeastern in the semifinals. This Tampa team is efficient and disciplined, top 5 nationally in field goal percentage, turnovers per game on defense, and fewest fouls per game. They're going to be a hard out for any opponents, so congratulations to the Spartans. And their opponent is Lee University. After falling in the Gulf South Conference semifinal to Alabama Huntsville, the Flames gain the at-large bid, look to heat up on a tournament run. The 2 seed in the South region is Embry-Riddle out of Florida. Just its 10th season of competition, the Eagles' 2024-25 Sunshine State Conference regular season title is the first in program history, and the conference championship is the first in history as well, after a 4-point victory over Nova Southeastern. Madison Jean-Louis broke the program's scoring record and currently sits at 1,531 career points as of today. Head coach Lisa Wilson earned her 200th career win this season and was named 24-25 SSC Coach of the Year. And the Eagles will take on West Florida. It's the Argos' first trip to the dance since 2018-2019, and they will need production out of their 2-headed monster, Riley Stevens and Hayden Pitch. Congratulations to the Argonauts. Now cue the Jaws music because there are sharks in these waters in the South. Nova Southeastern is back in the tournament for the 3rd year in a row. Despite losing in the Sunshine State Conference title to Embry-Riddle, the Sharks are eyeing a run in the NCAA tournament this year. And they will be taking on Alabama Huntsville. The Chargers of UAH women's basketball amidst its most successful season in program history, breaking team records for wins in a season, home wins, and Gulf South Conference wins. The team is led by first-year head coach Alan Sharp, who has turned the team into an NCAA contender after missing the conference tournament last season. We now move on to the Southeast region, where North Georgia is the #1 seed. With the win tonight, this is the best record through 31 games in program history. They went undefeated on the road in the regular season. It was 6 years in a row making the NCAA tournament before last year when they just missed out. But now you can call them Nighthawks, are back in the tournament. And they will be taking on UNC Pembroke, who picked up a national ranking as high as 17 this season, which is the highest in program history. Stella Malika matched the school record for most assists in a single game with 13 earlier this season against Fayetteville State. Kelsey Adams and Zaria Clark both joined the 1,000-point club as well this season. The next matchup in the Southeast region is the 4-5 game, and Francis Marion is the 4 seed. The Patriots, 11th appearance in the NCAA tournament in 32 seasons as an NCAA member school, including a pair of trips to the Elite Eight. Head coach Jerry Porter was named the 2025 Conference Coach of the Year after guiding the Patriots to a 22-5 regular season mark, a number 21 national ranking, and a current 9-game winning streak. So congrats to the Pats. And they will be taking on Columbus State. The Lady Cougars fell in the first round of the Georgia Southwestern in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. They have all 3 Peach Belt performers as first teamers, including Alana Rawls, the conference's Defensive Player of the Year. We move on down and say hello to the 2 seed, the Coker Cobras, in the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history after a historic season as SAC regular season champions. A season with more than 20 wins for the first time is just the beginning for this squad. They are led by SAC Coach of the Year, Melissa DeVore, Player of the Year, Shantiana Tillman, and 2 other all-conference selections. Congratulations to the Cobras. And their opponent, Belmont Abbey, whose conference tournament title is the first since the 2020-21 season. They have won 20-plus games in 6 out of the last 7 seasons. Assistant coach Kate McHugh played for Kim Lusk at St. Thomas Aquinas in New York. Belmont Abbey played in the conference title game each of the last 3 seasons, and they earn the bid. All right, the final matchup in the Southeast region is Anderson at the 3 seed. The Trojans have secured their spot in the tournament after a South Atlantic Conference Tournament Championship run behind stellar performances from tournament MVP Diamond McDowell and all-tournament honoree Zamia Passmore. Anderson women's basketball secured the South Atlantic Conference Tournament Championship 64-58 over Coker on Friday night at the Rock Hill Sports and Events Center. And as the 3 seed, they'll be taking on the 6 seed, Carson Newman. After a Sweet 16 finish a year ago, Carson Newman is back in the NCAA tournament and is more than capable of making an upset come to life. Well, that rounds out the Southeast region. Let's move to South Central. The number 1 seed in this region is Texas Women's University. The national runners-up from last season are primed for some vengeance. The Pioneers of Texas Women's are back in the tournament with a 30-win season, only 1 loss on the year to their rival UT Tyler, who they toppled in the NCAA tournament a season ago. Head coach Beth Gilson claimed her 300th win this year as the Pioneers defeated UT Tyler in the second round a season ago. They clinched the number 1 seed in the Lone Star Conference tournament, and Texas Women's is 16-0 dating back to last season at home. The Pioneers have held their opponents to under 10 points in a quarter 27 times this season. Just stifling, and they returned their entire roster from the 2023-24 season when they made the national championship run. They also added transfer Gabby Elliott, who made a deep impact. It marks the Pioneers' 4th straight appearance in the regional tournament. And they will be taking on Adams State. That's right, for the 2nd year in a row, Adams State is in. The Grizzlies are led by 3 all-RMAC selections, and they enter the tournament as an at-large selection led by head coach Mario Caetano. This next team is pretty confident they did enough this season for an at-large bid. It's Colorado Mesa. Their impressive season will continue. The Mavericks lost a heartbreaker in the final seconds on their home floor to CU Colorado Springs in the RMAC Championship. Their 18-game win streak may have snapped, but a championship is still up for grabs. So congrats to head coach Tyler Wagner and his team for keeping their season alive. As the 4 seed, they'll be taking on the 5 seed, Eastern New Mexico. Second-year head coach Blake Huber went from 11-17 in 23-24 to 20-9 this season. ENMU led the Lone Star Conference in scoring with over 70 points a game in the regular season as well. The Greyhounds are 5th in the country in bench points per game at 32.5, and the Greyhounds recorded their 5th season ever with 20 or more wins. The 2 seed in the South Central region is Lubbock Christian. They yield the 2 seed after a hard-fought title game against Texas Women's earlier today. The Lady Chaparrals will find themselves back in the tournament. For Lubbock Christian's Grace Foster, the LSC Player of the Year, she and the Lady Chaps will be seeking a deep run in the tourney. Next up, let's hear it for UC Colorado Springs. Seeded number 6 in the RMAC tournament, UCCS upsets number 21 Colorado Mesa University Saturday in the conference championship game, snapping an 18-game win streak in the process for Mesa. The win was secured by Maya Wilson's 2 clutch free throws in the final minute of action. The last time UCCS qualified for the NCAA tournament was back in 2017 when they advanced to the second semifinal round. So congrats to the Mountain Lions. The 3 seed in the South Central region is UT Tyler. Despite a first-round exit in the Lone Star tournament, UT Tyler did enough this season to still make it. After making the transition to D2 in 2020, the Eagles make it 3 appearances in a row now in the NCAA tournament. Congratulations, UT Tyler. And the final team in the South Central region, West Texas A&M. The Buffaloes earn an at-large bid out of the very talented Lone Star Conference and make the tournament with a chance for a big run and possible upset there in the first round. All right, one final bracket to go. Let's waste no time getting there. On to the West. With a 31-1 record, Cal State Dominguez Hills, the Toros, are in the tournament as a 1 seed and a host. After a 23-point victory over Cal Poly Pomona, the Toros will be in the NCAAs for the first time since 2022-2023, and they boast a slew of awards this season. Nala Williams was awarded both CCAA Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, and the Toros' John Bonner was selected as Coach of the Year. Christina Jones was also voted as Freshman of the Year. And they will be facing the former 1 seed a year ago, now an 8 seed, Azusa Pacific, in for the second year in a row. They are led in scoring by Kelly Heimberger and Amaya Kirkman. Congratulations to them on back-to-back trips to the dance. The 4th seed, Alaska Anchorage. The top seed was cold as ice in the GNAC tournament this year, held their own en route to an automatic bid, back in the field after missing out a season ago. In the 14 seasons of the GNAC Championship, Alaska Anchorage has won 7 times. The Seawolves finished as runners-up in the 2016 NCAA tournament, which was their deepest run to date. With a record of 320-79 in his 13 seasons, head coach Ryan McCarthy is 4th on the all-time Division II winning percentage list. Center Tori Hollingshead was a unanimous All-GNAC selection and has scored in double figures 24 times this season. And they will be facing the Montana State Billings Yellow Jackets. They'll be buzzing with this announcement after a last-second shot in the semifinals kept them from the GNAC title game this weekend. But for the 3rd straight year, they are in the field and will get a first-round matchup with the Seawolves of Alaska Anchorage. All right, the 2 seed, just 2 more matchups to go in the bracket. It's Cal Poly Pomona. Their 30th NCAA appearance and the former 5-time national champions are led this year by Kalea Buggs, who repeated as All-CCAA first-team honoree, and Sydney Nelson, who joined her on the first-teamers list as Cal Poly Pomona returns to the NCAAs for the 3rd season in a row and the 9th time under head coach Danielle Bishop. And they will be taking on Chico State. Back again are the Wildcats after a season ago where they earned their first NCAA tournament appearance in program history, falling in the semifinals of the CCAA tournament to Cal Poly Pomona, but the season continuing for this sharpshooting team. They get a chance to exact their revenge. Wildcats are 5th in the country, shooting 37% from 3-point range, and 4 players earned all-conference honors, which is the most for a team in the CCAA this season. All right, 1 more matchup to go. The final matchup in the West and in the bracket brings us Point Loma as the 3 seed. The Sea Lions are back. Point Loma won its first Pac West regular season and tournament title in program history, making its 2nd straight NCAA West regional appearance and 4th overall. This means it's back-to-back regional appearances for the first time in program history for Point Loma. This is also the highest ever seed in the NCAA regional for Point Loma, where their previous highest seed was 7. They also set a new NCAA era record in their program for wins with 25. Congratulations to the Sea Lions. Now, the final team to make the tournament, Central Washington. The Wildcats are back in the dance, led by Sonny Huerta and Asher Kai in scoring. In the West Region, hosted by Cal State Dominguez Hills. Well, that will do it for us tonight. All 64 teams in this year's Division II women's basketball tournament. As a reminder, the top 8 teams will advance to play in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from March 24th through the 28th at the UMPC Cooper Fieldhouse, with quarterfinals through the championship game airing on ESPN+. Best of luck to all the student athletes and teams competing in this year's championships.
I teach the art of fanology, a job I take seriously. As to the question of nature versus nurture, is a fan born or is a fan made? I know this: our game can make a fan out of anyone. And at Fandom U, we take it to a whole new level. The NCAA Championships. Attendance is encouraged, passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.